the unit, 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 the unit.
Well, what's the story? Welcome to episode 20 of the Unit Podcast. This is the episode where I have a pain in my tooth. So this is the episode where I hope that the pain in my tooth doesn't come at me while I'm recording and I don't have to cry on the camera. So yeah, I have to wait until Tuesday to get it sorted, and I have put off the recording now pure late. It's now Saturday and I got a bit better. I started recording on like Thursday and stuff like that just so I'd have time if I needed to edit or any of that carry on. But yeah, no, it is Saturday, so the episode is out tomorrow. And yeah, so when I kind of talk, it comes at me. So it's kind of coming at me a little bit now. So that's good. Delighted with that. Happy with that. So yeah, how's all your week going? But yeah, follow me on all the things. Anyway, as you can see, I have all the stuff going across the bottom of the screen if you're on YouTube. Walshunit on all socials. Walshunit41 on TikTok. So Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that jazz. And email is walshunit@gmail.com if anyone needs that. You probably won't, but anyway, there it is. So yeah, what did I get up to this week? I watched the roast of Kevin Hart. Did you watch that? If you didn't watch it, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, I don't know, I thought it was very, like, I understand a lot of comedy, be it like stand-up comedy or roasts or stuff like that, because like the roast is basically like kind of stand-up comedy, but just loads of different people doing it. But there was a few people there, and they kind of made it like, they didn't make it obvious, they said it, that they didn't write their jokes. Like, there's one fella there, I think he's a fucking basketball player or something, I don't know, and he kept on referencing the fact he didn't write the jokes, and they must have referenced the teleprompter 5 or 6 times, which is the yoke that reads what they're supposed to read, like a TV host would have or whatever, because it was live. But like, I don't know, you kind of want to think that it's all off the cuff. Do you know, I understand stand-up comedy and stuff like that is all polished and it's all been practiced and it's never off the cuff. And like, someone might have like 5 or 10 nights in a row in a place or whatever, and they'll do the same act every night, but the audience is led to believe that, well, they're not even led to believe, like, a lot of people just know that, but I'd rather just forget about the fact that they've done this night before and all. Do you know, it just, I don't know, it kind of makes it better. Like, I'm gonna know when I fix this fucking thing. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, I just thought that part of it was a bit disappointing or something, because there was a lot of funny people on it, you know what I mean? And I just thought that they could have done it without mentioning the fact that it was like fully scripted, like, do you know, even though all these things kind of are, it kind of took away from it for me. But no, in fairness, it was good, but that bit of it just kind of bothered me a little bit. And I wonder, is there the beef with Kevin Hart and thingamajigger, what's his name? Fucking Cat Williams. I wonder are they really after squashing their beef now, because he said like that it's over and done with now. I don't know too much about the beef that they had, but apparently fucking Cat Williams was on like a lot of interviews talking bad about Kevin Hart and saying that he took whatever movies Cat Williams turned down, and he kind of does whatever the industry wants him to do and all this kind of jazz. But yeah, there's probably more to it than that, but I just don't really know about that. But anyway, yeah, so I watched that, I don't know when it was, the other day, and then I watched half of it like the next day or something because I fell asleep. Anyway, that's besides the point. That's neither here nor there, as the fella says. But yeah, I'm starting to get sick of music. I never thought I'd say it. I love music, I do. But I'm starting to take a lot more notice of kind of lyrics and stuff like that. Now, I'd always be kind of obsessed about like learning, not even learning the lyrics, but like trying to figure out the little things that they say. You know, they'd say like double meanings and stuff like that, and I'd be like, oh, they're saying that because of this, and I love all that about it. And I'm a lover of music and all types of music and stuff like that, but I don't know what it is lately. Like I mostly just listen to podcasts now, so we'll call it, Jesus, I'd say 85% of my week I'm listening to podcasts, and then the other 15% I'm listening to music, like, because that's what I mostly do, is listen to podcasts. So out of all things that I do listen to, I'd say 85% of it is podcast, and never listen to music while I'm at work. Like, it's so weird, and it actually bothers me when I have to. Like, if the Bluetooth disconnects or something like that, it annoys me that I have to listen to music on the radio or whatever. So I don't know, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Just having my oat milk cappuccino. Has anyone else tried an oat milk cappuccino off my recommendation? Because everyone that I recommended to, lads, they're all coming back to me going, man, this is unreal. Yeah, it's unreal. I had to go to town for about 10 minutes. I was there a while ago. I got a shower and I got dressed, and I was like, I'll record the podcast now. And then I remember that I had to go to town for about 10 minutes. And the second I got out the door, I was feeling great and all day. Took a painkiller this morning for my tooth at like fucking 5:30 this morning or something like that. And then it got to like 1 o'clock today or something. And I was like, I'll record the podcast. I'm feeling good, feeling happy. Everything was fine. And then I went to town, and I was on the way to town, and my tooth started coming at me again. I think it was just because I went out into the cold or something like that. I need filling. I went about 3 weeks ago. I got an appointment with the dentist, and it actually says that I have the appointment, my jobber thingy out there, to tell me my next appointment. And it says on my last appointment, emergency appointment. And when I went in, they were like, oh yeah, you need a fill in there, whatever. I thought it was a fill in they had done already, was playing up. But they were like, no, this is near that fill in. It's not the same. It's a different one or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, lovely. Can you do that? So, and they were like, oh no, we can't do it now. This is just a consultation. I was like, what? I was like, and they were like, oh, you have to book in for another appointment again. So I went back down to the reception, booked in for another appointment, and it was like 3 weeks away. So that is Tuesday. So I can't wait for that. And if it can't be filled, and if they suggest like root canals or any of that kind of shit, I'll just be like, no, pull it out. I need to get 1 or 2 implants anyway, so it's just going to be another one to the list, I suppose. Hopefully they can fill it and I won't lose the tooth, but if I do, I do. I'm just not getting a root canal. Fuck that shit. But there was a song that came on recently. I can't remember where it was. I think it must have been on the radio. And I was listening to it, and I was like, this is just shit, like. What am I now? Do you know what I just reminded myself there when I did that? Did you ever be in the bowling place out in the end of the road, and he used to make that boom, doo 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 doo, boom, doo 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 doo. I don't know what that is. Is that like a bowling thing, or was it like was it a noise from one of the arcade game yokes? I don't know. But does anyone remember that? Oh, no. So, full lyrics. So I'm looking at the lyrics of this song that I looked up, right? So I'm going to try find the part that bothered me. But if I can't find it, then I'll just move on and just forget about it forever. But, so this song is called Instagram is a Liar, and it came out in 2022. It's by Benetton. So, how many girls famous in real life? Instagram, pictures on fire, bag, but your hairstyle is well expired. I'm just saying, some chicks roll up in the club and her face be like, damn. Dudes be like, I ain't Superman, but come to my crib tonight. Oh, come to my crib tonight, because it sounds like kryptonite. Yeah, bottle Popeye, smile. Yeah, I can't find the bit. I can't find the bit because I remember listening and I was like, oh, this is just, what's he even saying? Like, do you know what I mean? And I ended up just turning down the radio, and your hairstyle is expired. Like, imagine a man turning around to you and go, come here, love, your hairstyle is expired. You'd be like, all right, man, no bother. Fuck's sake, what a weird lyric to have. But and it got me thinking then as well. I always used to think when I was listening to songs, no, I don't mind this, but I just thought it was funny. And I always, like, do you know that I actually take notes for stand-up comedy? Like, sometimes once a week I might write something down. And now I haven't done stand-up comedy in fucking 8 years or something like that, and I did it twice, like three times, and I still take notes for stand-up, because maybe I'll do it again sometime, who knows. But yeah, I had notes taken down of this, and I was thinking maybe I could make it into like a stand-up comedy bit or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I'm just gonna read it out to you instead. But do you ever hear rappers? It's mostly rappers, and they're just blatantly telling lies on their songs. It's mad. And like, I know it's because it rhymes, and it's because, like, not because it rhymes, but like, it's just because it's something to put in the songs, you know, that kind of way. And they just like say these things, and you're like, imagine someone actually saying or doing what you just said in real life. You'd be looking at them like. So the first one is from 50 Cent and Biggie. I'm fully sure it is. It's a remix. Yeah, it's the realest, the word that I can't say, remix. So 50 Cent says, when I was young, my MO was to go to hail the Henny. What's that mean? When I was young, my MO was to go to hail the Henny, and even my PO, she called me the gingerbread man. His parole officer called him the gingerbread man. No, she didn't. Like, coming up next week on things that never happened. Like, even my PO, she called me the gingerbread man. I caught a new case and tell her ass catch me if you can. Like, I don't know. I understand it's just for the song, but like, I just find it funny that they just blatantly just tell lies, and then we just go along like, oh, it's fucking good, isn't it? And then you're thinking, like, in the Biggie Smalls song, Respect, he's like, then came my worst day, May 21st, 219, that's when my mama water burst. No spouse in the house, so she rode herself to the hospital to see if she could get a little help. Umbilical cords wrapped around my neck. I'm seeing my death, and I ain't even took my first step. I made it out, I'm bringing mad joy. The doctor looked and said he's gonna be a bad boy. Imagine having a baby, and the doctor turns around to you and goes, he's gonna be a bad boy. You'll be like, what do you mean he's gonna be a bad boy? What are you saying about my child? And be like, oh no, I just mean like P. Diddy. And be like, who? P. who? So, why am I getting a phone call? Oh, that's annoying. I'm going to have to edit that out maybe, probably. 1 second now. Jesus, that's very annoying now. Oh, yeah, okay. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so maybe it's okay. I can't get... What? I don't know. The app must be down. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Imagine having a baby, and then the doctor looks and said, oh, he's gonna be a bad boy. And then you just go on about your day. It wouldn't happen. There'd be war. It'd be all over Limerick leader. Local local midwife says baby is gonna be bad boy. What's like? Why would you? No, that never happened. I mean, imagine his mother telling him, like, do you know when you were born now, the doctor looked and said you're gonna be a bad boy. So it's mad that you're after joining fucking Bad Boy Records with Diddy and all them. And then he'd be like, Mom was Puff Daddy back then. Yeah. And she'd be like, Christopher, come here and I tell you now, you are going to be a bad boy. But yeah, I think I might make that into a little segment where I go and research and find lyrics that where rappers are telling lies. Or you can tell me, you could send me your things where rappers are telling lies, but put them in a message or something like that. Send them on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or something like that. Write in a message and tell me what rappers you heard telling lies, because I think it can be funny. See, those two that I thought of years ago. So I'm just used to hearing them ones now because they're so old. But there's a feature as well on YouTube, lads, that someone told me about. And you can actually, I know now YouTube isn't, not everybody listens on YouTube, where Spotify is mostly where people listen. But if you are on YouTube, there is a feature called Hype, and you can hype somebody's video, and it like pushes it towards the top or something like that in the algorithm, or I don't know, but it's a good thing anyway. So if you can find a hype button, do that to my videos, and do it to all my videos, or whatever videos you can, and we'll try and hype this train up, you know? How about that? I meant to tell you as well. Do you remember I was talking about the handcart that I blew the tyres and the tubes on? Yeah, I put 60 psi into it. And for people who don't know, like, you'd put like 30 or like between 30 to 35 you'd put in a car tyre. And then if it was a van, you'd put about 50 into it. We'll just say if it was, a van. And then I put 60 into a little fucking tiny handcart. So yeah, I'm it up. But I had no glasses on, and I thought it said max pressure 80 psi. So I wasn't thinking, because I was in a hurry. So I was like, 80 psi, I'm not putting that into it. I'll put 60 into it. Put 60 into it, and the two tyres absolutely exploded. So yeah, that was something that I needed to tell you from last week, because I don't think I mentioned that. I think I got carried away. But yeah. See what happened to me the other day. I was driving in the road. It was the morning time, and it was last weekend actually. And do you know when you're by Frank Hogan's, the Volkswagen garage on the Dublin Road? So I was coming down that way, and we'll say Frank Hogan's on my left, and I was heading towards town. So I was in the middle lane, we'll call it, the one for going straight on, or you can turn right to go over by the Pahealy Road or whatever, right? So I was in that middle lane. Now that lane is for turning right and going straight on, right? But everyone always assumes if you're in that lane that you're only turning right and you're not going straight on, because everyone still goes out into that left lane, even if there's only two cars on the road, and if you pull up at them lights and don't have your indicator on to turn right, people will just assume, okay, that car's going right, but they're stopped there with no indicator on, so I'll go on the left lane, and then when the light goes green, I'll go straight, I'll continue in this lane, and then I'll go over into that lane. Now, the road doesn't even have like a merge lane, a merge sign on it. It literally says like that the lane ahead is for straight, and then the lane to the left is for left. But there's two arrows coming from that left lane, so you can kind of merge straight away, like if the person is turning right. But anyway, so I wasn't turning right, but there was a car behind me that was turning right. Or maybe it was in front of me. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, there was another car that was turning right, so the other car had its indicator going to go right. So then there was another car in the left lane, obviously only keeping an eye on the car with the indicator on, and thought, oh, them cars are turning right, so I can go into that lane once I'm through the lights. But no, I was going straight on. So I drove straight through the lights when they turned green and continued to go straight. And this car in the left lane just started drifting over into my lane. I don't even know if there was an indicator on. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. But just in the corner of my eye, I could see a car on the left of me just like taking up my entire left windows, we'll just say. I could just feel them. I could just see it in the corner of my eye that the car was just like coming over and blocking my entire windows. Like, so I was like, that car is very close. What the fuck? And I just looked, and the car was up against the side of my car. Like, so I beeped and braked a little bit, and the car swerved kind of away from me, but continued driving. So I was thinking, what the fuck happened there? I was like, did that car just hit the side of my car, or was it just really close? Did it beep at the right time, or what happened? And before I knew it, somehow there was another car in front of me and then that car that just came over beside my car was in front of that car. So I was thinking, like, did that car hit me or what happened? So I kept driving, and I was there thinking to myself, I was like, that was very, very close. Surely it must have hit me, but it didn't feel anything like. So I was like, what'll I do? So the car was just still driving, and I was like, okay, she's not pulling in or anything like that, so maybe we didn't. But then I kind of, do you know when something happens and you replay it in your mind? It always happens to me when someone says something and I won't know what they said, so I'll replay it in my mind 2 or 3 times and then be like, oh, that's what they said. So that's what I did but it was a visual replay, like an action replay in my mind of what just happened, right? And when the car was passing me out, I can remember seeing like a scuff on the door, the door that would have been on my side. And it looked to me in my mind that it was the size of a fucking dinner plate. Like, now I don't know what size it actually was, but that's what thought I got. And I was like, hold on, yeah, we definitely must have hit if her car was marked. So the car was in front, and I was down by Clare Street Park at this stage, and lights went red. So as the lights went red, then I overtook the car that was in front of me and pulled back in next to the woman who had come over into my lane. And I put down the window, and just as I put down the window, she put down her window. So she obviously saw me overtaking this other car and pulling in. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see you there. And all this. I was like, okay, did you hit my car? And she was like, no. I said, are you sure? She was like, no, I didn't. I was like, okay, so maybe she must not have felt it either. Because, in fairness, I didn't feel anything, but it was just because I saw the scuff on her door that it made me think, like, that we must have fucking hit. And so I said, just wait there so a second and I'll check my car. And she was like, yeah. So I put on my hazard lights and jumped out and checked, and she had just fucking clipped the wing of my car. So there's like a couple of little scrapes on it and a dent. So I'm going to have to get that sorted now. And she said that she had insurance, but it wasn't in this country. So I was like, oh, here we go now. How the fuck am I going to chase up an insurance claim from a different country? Do you know what I mean? So the second she said that, I was like, oh, okay, give me a second. And I just rang the guards to come out and look, because I was thinking, if I can't sort this out, I need to have proof that this is after happening. So in fairness, the guards came out and they were very helpful, and they said it to her. They said, look, you need to sort him out for this or whatever if you don't want to go through the insurance and blah, blah, blah. And they just kind of took a report of what was after happening. But in fairness, very, very sorted it very quickly. It's fully paid for and all, and my car hasn't even gone in to get fixed yet. So I'm waiting. I have an appointment next week to get that done. So yeah, fucking crisis over, really. Like, there's no panic, like, you know, because I know it's going to be fixed. So I can't complain, really. Like, it could have been a lot fucking worse. Like, it was, oh man, I got some fright. Like, I literally thought that the whole side of my car was going to be caved in. Like, but then when I beeped and moved, I was like, okay, maybe we didn't even hit there. But yeah, I got some fright. So just be careful when you're going through a junction like that, and you just assume that the person next to you is turning. Just check your mirrors, yeah, because I might be there, and I don't want that to happen again. My fucking man, my heart was pumping out of my chest as well. I got some fright, but I was like, the second we pulled in and I was looking at the damage on my car, literally when I was off the phone to the guards, and I think she was on the phone to her husband or something like that. Like, I was taking Snapchats of my car and all and putting sounds on it and sending it to people. I'm thinking, like, why can't I be like, just like pissed off like a person normally would? But yet, if I walk into a place and I want to get my coffee and they don't have oat milk cappuccino, I'll just stand in front of the machine and I'll be looking at it like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'll be like fucking just kind of looking at it like and wondering like, what the fuck am I going to do now? But then when something bad happens, I can just make a joke out of it. You get me? It's fucking very weird. Like, it's something that I don't understand about myself. Like, an actual problem, I'll make a laugh out of it, and then something that's not a problem, it'll ruin my day. Do you get me? Like, very weird altogether. Like, and I went and parked the car and went for a stroll and just carried on about my day. Whereas there's really minor things that can happen and they just ruin my whole day, and I can't do anything for the rest of the day. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking so weird, man. yeah, look, as I said, it could have been worse. And at least it's it's not sorted yet, but at least it's paid for and it's going to be sorted. But what do you think anyway? Anyone who's on YouTube, like anytime I start a new episode, I feel like there's always kind of something a little bit different. Like at the moment now, I'm after putting the LED lights around my sign, and I'm after putting them behind the chairs and on the shelf and stuff like that. I'm really loving how the studio is looking nowadays. And then I have my new intro as well. I'm going to keep the same intro music, I think. My intro music is good, like, isn't it? But I'm after changing the visual on the intro. Because that first one where I just had my logo and there was like hands spray painting over it and stuff, I thought it was just a bit very basic and beginnery. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to redo it and make my intro look a bit more professional and look a bit more podcasty. Because this is episode 20. 20, can you believe that? Like, that means I've been doing this 20 weeks. But you see, I think the reason is because I feel like I have to do it. It feel like, not that it's a chore, but that it's like another job that needs to be done. Do you get me? It's not like yeah, I'll just do the podcast, or yeah, whatever, I might, or you know. It's like, I have to do this by Sunday kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And I was there a while ago when my tooth started coming at me, and I was thinking and all, I was like, fuck it, sure, how am I going to be able to do the podcast? How am I going to try to be a little bit fucking funny for an hour? And then I was like, but sure, I have to do it. Either way, have to do it. So, yeah, I like that I have that about me, because I know, like, that all the podcasts that I listen to, if they ever missed one or didn't put out one, I'd be fucking raging. Like there's a podcast now that I listen to, and their episode came out today, and it's 2.5 hours long, but I keep it for a Monday morning. And like, if I didn't have that now on Monday morning to listen to, I'd be fucking raging. Like, and I know it's a very weird thing, but I'm a very routine-y type of a person. Do you get me? Routine-y, I don't know, I thought there was something that rhymed with routine that I was thinking of, but I guess not. Routine-y, fucking Ronald Daney, routine-y. But I was thinking there, just before this episode, I posted a selfie on Snapchat. I just took a picture of myself and captioned it, whatever. And it reminded me when I was on Instagram and Facebook. Well, I would have been always on Snapchat as well. As I said, Snapchat was the first social media that had the Walshunit name was my Snapchat. It was literally just my Snapchat name. That was it. And then when I started my page and stuff like that, I was like, this is the name I'm going to use, and just kept it at that. But I'd notice it more so on Facebook and Instagram, because you can see your number of followers all the time. Do you know what I mean? And I remember years ago when I used to post, I might post a picture of myself, and I'd notice that I'd lose followers because I'm posting a picture of myself and not something funny. Isn't that weird? Like, I only thought of it a while ago, like after I took that selfie and posted it, I was like, lads, remember I used to fucking lose followers because of posting pictures of myself. Imagine someone sitting at home scrolling through and be like, what? Why's she posting a picture of himself? What's she fucking doing that for? That's not funny. Do you know what I mean? And then unfollowing me, like, so. And I remember putting up a post then one time going like, I posted a picture of myself and people unfollowed me and blah, blah, blah. Like, why did I even bother posting that? Like, stupid shit. But yeah, I suppose people were just very cutthroat about what they wanted to see and what they didn't want to see. Like, so yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one. It's just a thought that came into my mind. Speaking of thoughts coming into my mind, I had a dream. So I was up early this morning, but I was able to go back to bed and have a nap again, right? And when I woke up from that, I was after having a dream. Now, I don't have dreams very often. Like, obviously they say, like, everybody has dreams every night, but you just don't remember them and whatever. So, one second now, I'll show you this. So, do you see this Red Bull? The spring edition sugar-free cherry Sakura Red Bull, right? The white one. With, like, pinkish writing or reddish writing on it. So, I was in my dream, right? In my dream, I was standing somewhere holding one of these cans, yeah? And, I was holding one of these cans in my dream, and I was standing, like, in a queue, right? So, as I was standing in the queue, I could see this girl, like a good-looking girl, right? And she was looking around as if she was confused. So for some reason, I knew what she was looking for. So I said, "Oh, are you looking for the?" I kind of called her. I said, "Sorry, are you looking for the Red Bull and stuff?" And she was like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, it's over there." And I showed her where it was and just pointed at it, like, which is very weird because how could you not know how could you not find the drinks in a shop, you know, that kind of way. But then again, I don't know where I was meant to be in this dream, like, but sure, they're not meant to make sense really, like, are they? And I told your one where to go, how to find the Red Bull, because I had a can of it in my hand. And I think what happened was I noticed that she was looking at mine and thought, oh, this is what she's looking for now. And when I said it to her, she was like, oh, yeah, thanks. So she went away and then came back a couple of seconds later and handed me another can of it. And she goes, here, let me. I was like, oh. And I think I put down the can that I had, right? So she was buying me a can of Red Bull. So I was like, oh, this is nice, whatever, of this girl to be buying me a can of Red Bull because I showed her where it was, whatever. And then she started, like, chatting away, like, you know, I think she was like, so how are you anyway? And I was thinking, Jesus, this doesn't happen. Like, you know, you never really get approached by a girl and, like, that you'd be interested in, and, you know, chatting, and she's buying you a drink, just being nice, like, you know, just like that type of stuff just doesn't really happen, like. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I remember thinking, and you know what, I'm just after realising that I don't have the light on up there. It's probably stone dark in here now. Fuck it, anyway, sure, look, there's no point in changing it now. But oh yeah, I was kind of thinking, like, geez, this is kind of cool that this is happening, like, whatever, and chatting away to her. And then I don't remember what we talked about when we were standing in the queue, but I remember after that then it, like, flicked to a different scene, like, you know, like in first dates when they have their date and then they're talking afterwards saying, like, oh, well, I thought he was like this and I thought she was that and blah blah blah, like the interview, one-on-one interview with the person from the date. She was on one of them in the dream and she was just talking about why she wouldn't date me. I was thinking, like, what? This, like, I don't know, it was a very weird fucking, it was an odd dream, like, because we weren't on a date, like, but we were, like, chatting in a queue, and she was being nice by me a fucking can of Red Bull, and I was after being nice by calling her and telling her where the drinks were, and, you know, we just kind of started chatting for a minute. Next thing, it flips over, and she was just telling the camera why she wouldn't date me and giving reasons why she wouldn't date me, and I was thinking, like, this is fucking weird. Where did I even come up with that dream in my head? And I'm just thinking there as I was just thinking there as I was explaining the dream that I might actually realise where it kind of stemmed from, because I remember I was somewhere the other day and there was a girl there and she was on her own and I was on my own, and I remember thinking, I was like, geez, I don't recognise her from around. And then I was looking back at my phone, and then, you know, we were kind of, the both of us were in and out. I had to go out and she had to go out and back in, whatever. And I was thinking, yeah, I was like, geez, she's all right looking as well, like, you know. And then I was like, I thought of it then afterwards. I was like, imagine there's people out there who meet in situations like that and they just kind of turn around and start chatting to the person, but, like, out of the blue. Do you know, they might say, like, well, how are you keeping anyway? But, like, I just think so many people would be freaked out by that. Or not even freaked out by it, but, like, uncomfortable or something. Do you know? And I was just thinking, like, how it would be such a normal thing to just turn around and say, well, how are you keeping anyway? Or whatever, do you know? Or maybe not that, like, but, like, do you ever watch the Turtles when you were small? Do you know, or something like that? Or just, like, do you watch the match? And then they'd be like, no, and be like, ah, good, because I didn't either. But no, but, you know, if you just said something like a normal kind of thing, like, maybe not like, how are you anyway? Do you know, if you just said something like, oh, what, it's bollocks waiting around, isn't it? Or something like that, that's pure icebreaker then. And then they'd be like, I know, yeah. And then be like, do you want to go out with me? But you know, I was thinking, like, how normal it kind of is to start a conversation with somebody, but how abnormal it is if they wouldn't want to, if they didn't want to start the conversation. Do you know that kind of way? Like, yeah, I don't know, and maybe that's why this dream came into my head, and maybe the girl in the dream was that girl, but I wouldn't fully remember what she looks like, but yeah, maybe that's where it stemmed from. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird one, but I'd love to have more dreams, because it's a bit of crack, like. Do you know what I hate as well? So we were talking there about the car and the woman crashing into me and stuff like that. Do you know what I absolutely hate in the car? The start-stop feature. Why? Like, I understand it's meant to be economical and stuff like that, and you're not wasting diesel or whatever when you're sitting in traffic and the car turns off. But when you're sitting in traffic and you have to keep going and stopping and going and stopping and going and stopping, and the engine is turning off, and then the starter is going, starting the engine again and turning off and everything. Man, and like, I can't, in my car now, I can't just turn that feature off. You have to keep pressing the button every time. Like, every time you start driving. Like, every journey, you have to turn off the start-stop. And then if you park the car, get back in, you have to turn it off again. But it's so fucking annoying. I don't know, I'd love to know how much fuel it actually saves. But like, surely it's not good for the starter. I understand the starter is probably, well, it would be, the starter would be made in such a way that it's able for all those starts and stops. Not stops, because the starter doesn't stop your car. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a stupid feature. I hate it. Put it in the comments. Put what in the comments? Put it in the comments. I don't know. Just put it in the comments. Do you hate it as well, or is it just me, or what? Yeah, I don't know. My toot nose coming at me, and I'm getting a little bit agitated. I'm getting a little bit kind of like as if I want to end the episode, but I don't want to end the episode because it's too soon, because it's only 37 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna have to suck it up and continue. But yeah, I was just thinking there about what would be good for my tooth right now. And what I kind of do a lot is I'll shock it. I'll like if I'm drinking something cold, or else I'll just go and brush my teeth. We'll say just randomly throughout the day, and I'll concentrate on that part, on the sore part, and try and make it like as sore as I can. And I feel like then it kind of maximizes the pain, and then makes the pain go away. Is that a thing, or am I imagining things? I'm gonna try it now with this Red Bull. Oh. Yeah. I feel like that kind of worked. It wasn't, I was kind of bracing myself for more pain that actually came. But oh, that's great. Just drop my coffee cup 1 second. Yeah, so I was thinking there, I'd love I was thinking of like what could hurt my tooth the most, and then I was thinking of ice cream, and it reminded me of the other day when I got a 99. I stopped somewhere, got something to eat, and just before I was leaving, I said I'd get a 99, and your man was wearing a hat behind the thingy where the cones are, right? And he kind of just got the hat and like lifted it up and down twice on his head, like as if like the way you do it, like if you were too hot, or if you had like a little bit of an itch or something, and you were trying to move the hat to just make it more comfortable on your head. So straight away I thought, oh, I don't like the fact that he's after doing that while I'm standing here getting served off him. But I'm gone very, very finicky. I'm taking so much notice of how people are behaving when they're serving food and things, or even just working in that environment, and I'm taking way too much notice of it, and it's annoying the shit out of me. I wish I could ignore it. So he got I asked him for a 99 anyway, and then he did that thing with his hat, and I was like, oh, why did he do that now? I'm going to be thinking about that. So then he got like a piece of tissue and rolled it up around the cone, and he had one glove on. So he was holding the cone with the tissue and the glove, and I was like, okay, that's fine, do you know. And then when he handed me the cone, or just before he handed me the cone, he picked up a flake with his bare hand and stuck it into the side of it and handed it to me, and I paid and walked away. And straight away I thought, why did he pick that flake up with his no glove hand, or why did he not have two gloves on? And I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, but he only touched it for a split second, like, so it'd be fine. And then I got outside, and I was like, there was a bit of it starting to drip, and I licked it, and I thought, yeah, sure, will I just bite the flake now, just to get this thought out of my head, and be like, all right, it's done now, like, you know, he touched it, and I bit it, and so what, it's gone now, that bit is gone. But I couldn't do it. I just thought about it too much, and just convinced myself. I just took the flake out and fucked the flake into the bin, and just let the cone on its own. Because I took so much notice of the way that your man was with the, picked it up with his bare hand. And I don't know, that's probably not supposed to be done, but yeah, it just bothered me, and I couldn't shake the feeling, so I had to just fuck away the flake. Yeah, as I said, like, I'm just taking a lot more notice of shit like that lately, and it's kind of wrecking my head. But I was thinking as well, do you know the way I mentioned a while back about that bathroom that I go into a lot of days when I'm working, and they barely ever have hand soap? It happened again the other day. Remember, they filled it up. Actually, yeah, I put it out to the universe now that they might fill it up. But I was there again the other day, yesterday, and it was empty again. And it got me thinking, again, like, why don't they have bathroom doors that push out instead of ones that you have to push in and not touch? But then when you're leaving the bathroom after washing your hands, you have to touch the handle and pull the door back towards you. Like, why you don't have it in such a way that you have to pull the door open to go into the bathroom? Now, I understand it pulls out into the hall, but, like, so what? Who cares? Just be careful when you're walking past it, if you know it comes out, like, do you know what I mean? And have it in such a way that you pull the door to open it, and then when you wash your hands after you're finished and you're leaving, you can just push the door out and you don't have to touch it, really. You can push it with your foot or whatever. Wouldn't that be better? And then it'd be more hygienic, and you wouldn't have to be touching big fucking pissy door handles. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think. Anyway, you can have that idea if you want and just go and run with it. Lads, I meant to mention a fella who made me up a few 3D printed things, right? So I'm going to go on and I'm going to find his majabber there, because I told him I'd mention him on the podcast and try and get a few of you to follow him, because the stuff that he does, lads, is class. So he's called Vectra Print on TikTok. Does he have Instagram as well, or Facebook? I know he has one of them. He either has Instagram or Facebook, but I think he's mainly on TikTok. So Vectra Print 0 is his username on TikTok. Vectra, like a car. And he made me up these fucking cool yokes. Like, that's a light box. No, it's not. It's not turned on at the moment. And I couldn't use it because my camera picks up the light too much, and you can't read it. But that's my camera's fault. It's not the light's fault. But it's fair cool. He can do any design. Like, he does a lot of clubs as well. Like, you know, 1 second. Like, he did this one as well. I got this one, the boys. It's a Manchester United crest, and it's a light box as well. There's a switch and there's an LED light in it, and it'd be cool for, like, you know, kids' bedrooms or whatever the fuck, or a gift for somebody or whatever. So go on and have a look, lads. Vectra Print 0 on TikTok, but you'll see it if you type it in anyway. But he's good, and he can do most things, and he can make other 3D printed stuff as well. And it's fair class. Like, it's definitely worth giving him a follow. And yeah, if you're messaging him, just tell him that I sent you, so that he'll know I put out the good word. If you could, please, because he made me up a few cool things now, in fairness. I must put a few things up on the shelf, but I just didn't get around to it yet, because I keep doing everything different. I keep on changing things around in the studio and changing my setup slightly and blah blah blah, and then that's just one of the things that I just haven't done yet, like, you know. I was thinking as well when I mentioned that deli with no hand wash ever. I was in there the other day and I was picking something up, and I looked in the deli and I thought, oh yeah, what happened to those pastry things that have like a hot dog in them, and then there's like a pastry mesh on the front of it, and I think there's a bit of mustard in it, like a tiny little bit of mustard. So it's like a rectangle. It looks like a sausage roll kind of, but like it's wearing fucking fishnet tights, like a sexy sausage roll with mustard in it, kind of like a seductive kind of sausage roll. Do you get me? Do you know them ones with the fucking fishnet tights on them? The sausage with the fishnet tights and the mustard, and it's looking up at you from the deli, kind of go whoop, 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 whoop. My pony. Why are they not in delis anymore? What are they called again? They're called the fucking. They're called something. A lattice or something like that, is it? Fucking no, that's an apple yolk, isn't it? I feel like it has a name like that, like a not a lattice. Why is that in my head? But where are they gone? They used to be unreal. Well, sometimes they were unreal. Other times then you get them and they'd be like a fucking blancry cock. If they're sitting there for too long and all, the bottom would be gone solid. And it's like eating concrete and hot dog and mustard concrete and a window frame or something like that, because that's what the meshy bit goes like, because it's so hard. So where are they gone? That's what I'd love to know. And why are they not a thing anymore? Were they not a good seller? Did they go too hard, too fast? Or what's the story? If you could just let me know, put it in the comments. Where are they gone? What were they called? Because I was thinking about them. And if you see them around, tell them I'm asking for them, will you? Because I miss them. I feel pure shit. I just want them back. So if you could pass on that message, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah? Thanks very much. And if anyone meets the girl that I was talking to in Salou a couple of years ago, I was at, this is a completely different story now, but I was in Salou going back 2022, I think it was. And we were in this kind of bar, late bar, nightclubby, it was a nightclub, wasn't it? Yeah. And I heard these two girls talking, and I recognised that they were Irish, like. And I said to them, I goes, oh, you Irish? And they were like, yeah, we're from Waterford. I was like, oh, cool, whatever, I'm from Limerick. I said, whatever, and just chatting away. And one of them, like, seemed real nice, and she was chatty and fucking whatever, and she says, do you want to buy me a drink? I was like, yeah, alright. So I went up to the bar. She walked up to the bar as well, and we were just standing there chatting. And I says, what you want? And she told me, and I ordered one and whatever, and we were just chatting, and the barman took a couple of minutes, like whatever, it was busy, and we were just standing there chatting, and everything was fine, grand, whatever. And then the drinks came down, gave us the two drinks. She picked up her drink and just looked at me and goes, bye. And I just thought, what a fucking baller move. Like, she pure made it look like she was interested in chatting. And then I bought her a drink, and then she just goes, bye, and just walked away. And I was like, you know what? Fair play to her. Because, yeah, I don't know, fair play to her for having the balls to do it, and for doing it like that, and not being like, trying to be like, oh, my friend is calling me, or, you know, whatever. She was just a pure, yeah, I don't know. Then again, fuck her at the same time, true, isn't it? Because she just burnt me for a drink. But she didn't buy me one back then or anything like that, so I might go back over to Salou and see can I find her, and I'll say it to her then again. How about that? I feel like I have a little bit of heartburn. Can you get heartburn from Red Bull? I know you can get it from the normal Red Bull, but this is the cherry one, so I don't know. I'm being very brave now of the Red Bull on top of my laptop next to the touchpad thing. So yeah, I have to be careful. But do you know what gives me heartburn? Sour cream and onion Pringles. Do you know what Pringles? So I love Pringles. I love sour cream and onion Pringles, and I'll sit down and I'll eat a tube, which is weird because the slogan is like, once you pop, you can't stop. But once I pop, I can stop, but after half a tube. But once I pop, I can't stop getting heartburn. So maybe that's what the slogan is supposed to be. Pringles, once you pop, you just can't stop getting heartburn. But then they were probably like, oh no, why not? Why will we clip out the bit about the heartburn and just leave in once you pop, you just can't stop? And then they'll be like, you just can't stop what? And then they'll be like, oh, I don't know, popping, I suppose. And they'll be like, but you only need to pop once to open the tube. And then what are you supposed to not stop? Because they don't say like, once you pop, you can't stop eating these Pringles. Do you know? It's like, once you pop, you just can't stop getting heartburn. That must be the full slogan, because they'd fucking burn the heart off it, like they really would. So I reckon that was the full slogan for Pringles, but then they changed it because it was more appealing, I suppose. But it's mad that's their whole thing. But like, you should get Pringles because once you get Pringles, you're going to be addicted to them. That's basically what they're saying, like, isn't it? So I don't know what kind of a marketing strategy that is. Like, it's a weird one, isn't it? Isn't that a weird one? We won't say the word, but my TOOTH is kind of playing ball. It seems fine. It's not acting the bollocks with me. So that's good, isn't it? Isn't that good? Do you know what? Do you know Mungo Jerry? Why Jerry? What's the story, Mungo Jerry? Do you know what he reminded me of the other day? And we were actually in having I was having something to eat and he was having a cup of tea because I'm fat. We were sitting down having something to eat and he was like, do you remember having do you remember your school books, he said, used to be wrapped in wallpaper? I was like, yeah, actually. And I can't remember mine being wrapped in wallpaper, but they probably were, like. And like, even with the wood chip wallpaper, do you remember that? Like, why was that even a thing? Like, why was, like, I'm not about why was it a thing to put them on your school books, but why was wood chip wallpaper a thing at all? And like, if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's wallpaper with tiny little pieces of wood behind it, so that when you put it on the wall, it's like bumpy and textured. And do you remember people used to paint over the wood chip wallpaper? Like, but that surely that wasn't designed to be painted over, like, was it? But yeah, it was mad years ago, wasn't it? But yeah, and they used to. So there was stuff that you could get to wrap your copies. Was there? Or was it brown paper? Was the thing? But they used to, not your copies, your school book. Sorry. But what the idea was is that you'd wrap the book in the paper so that at the end of the school year it could be either passed down to a younger sibling or else given to like a neighbour or cousin or a family member or something like that, because they're expensive, whatever. But yeah, it was a mad blast from the past. I was like, oh yeah, remember that? Remember having your fucking school books wrapped in newspaper? Imagine, imagine your school books being wrapped in newspaper, the fucking obituaries or something like that. You're sitting down in class reading about some fucking woman from down the road who got rested in peace. But yeah, I think we might have been talking about the whole milk token situation when he brought it up. But yeah, I just thought it was an old fucking blast from the absolute physical past. But another blast from the past. I remember going back years ago. I rented a house. I used to move house this sounds mental, because it kind of is, but the way the things are gone, it sounds even more mental. So I used to move house every 6-8 months, a year, something like that. I'd be in an apartment or something, and I'd just move somewhere else after a year or 6 months or 8 months or something like that, just for the sake of it. And you could do that. Back then, you could just go on to fucking daft.ie and just go, oh, apartments, and this is my price limit, and blah, 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 blah. And then you could just move away, and you could just go where you wanted, and it was fine, and it was very easy to get, and accessible, and fucking, like, you didn't have to meet much criteria or anything to get accepted for a place, whatever. And I just thought it was mental that it used to be that way. And now when you go on, you just can't find anything, or else they're just priced fucking clean out of it. But yeah, I actually moved to a house in Newport, going back a couple of years ago, a good few years ago now at this stage, and so I got this was it a 3-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house? I can't remember. I can barely even remember the layout. I remember downstairs was nice and big, big sitting room, big kitchen. I think there was 3 bedrooms then upstairs, and there was 3 bedrooms upstairs, and I got onto the landlord and I said, look, I said, I have the deposit. Was it the deposit or the first month's rent? Whatever it was anyway. I think I said, yeah, look, I have your, no, I said, I have your first month's rent, but I don't have the deposit yet because I needed to wait to get the deposit back off the crowd that I was already renting off. Yeah. So I said, look, I said, I can give you the first month's rent, but I have to wait until I get my deposit back from the other place that I was renting before I can give you the deposit. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah, that's no problem at all. It was near Christmas. So, it was all go, all systems go. Yep, no bother at all. Yep, move out there, whatever. Fucking gave my notice to the place that I was renting, and they were like, yeah, we'll get you your deposit sorted, whatever, a couple of days or whatever it was. So that was fine. So I moved out to the house and all anyway, and when I went in there, I was like, oh, kind of fucking smells a bit weird in here. There was like an essence of like some weird food that was just in the air and just stuck everywhere, and you just couldn't really get rid of it. It was just fucking an odd smell. So I was going around anyway, scrubbing the place, and fucking like I'd mop the floors like every day and all, like just to try and get rid of this smell. And like I was just scrubbing the countertops and scrubbing this and scrubbing that, and the front of the presses and the whole lot. I remember the inside of the fridge was fucking stinking, and then underneath the fridge had all this weird kind of, I don't know, it was like fucking mud for all the world. And I ended up actually pulling the whole fridge out and cleaned in underneath it. And it was literally so bad. It was like someone didn't have a fridge there and they just had the little area sectioned off, and they had a fucking dog living in there or something in this little area where a fridge is supposed to be. That's how dirty it was underneath there. I couldn't make head or tail of it, and I still don't know why. But maybe it just wasn't cleaned in so many fucking years or something. So that was grand. I was like, right, that's fucking whatever. I put on a wash, and I was only there a few days at this stage, and I put on a wash, and the washing machine, when it got to the scary part, the spin cycle, it just started fucking banging, right? So it was spinning, it was going, literally banging, like. So I was like, fucking hell. And I was thinking, like, is there something wrong with it? Or, well, I knew there was something wrong with it, but I was like, is that just after happening, or is this something that was wrong? And I was like, sure, it's my first time using the machine, so it must have been just like that. So I had to actually close the kitchen doors and like go into a different room so that I couldn't hear it. Because, well, I could hear it still because it was fucking like someone was trying to kick in the door waving the 4-4 or something. And I was like, fucking hell, that's weird, like that the machine is banging like that. And then it got a bit later in the evening, and I said I'd put on the heating. So I went over to put on the heating, and I switched it on, and it wouldn't kick in. The thing, it was like starting to kick in, and then it just kind of went dead and wouldn't start. So I was like, what the fuck is going on here now? So I was already after fucking cleaning the dog shit under the fucking fridge. Then the washing machine was having a house party. Gunk, 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 gunk. Then I went over to try to turn on the heating, and the heat wouldn't turn on. I was like, what the fuck? So I ended up fiddling around with it anyway and got it working. So I contacted the landlord the next day, and I said, look, I said, this is wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong. And he was like, oh, all right. I said, look, I said, sorted after Christmas or whatever. I said, but the heating, I said, what am I supposed to do about that? And he was like, oh, sure, let me know how you get on. It's working, is it? He says. I was like, yeah, it's working now, like, but it doesn't just turn on. I had to fiddle with it to get it to go. Oh, yeah, oh, that should be fine. So on all this, I was like, all right, pure dismissing it, like. And then I said, the washing machine. I said, the the washing machine is making all these fucking mad noises. I said, there's no banging and fucking everything else. And he was like, oh, but it's working, is it? I was like, yeah, it's working. I said, but the sound of it is fucking unbearable. I said, it's banging around the kitchen like. And he was like, oh yeah, oh no, that should be fine and all this. I was thinking like, everything can't be just fine. I'm ringing you there about problems and you're telling me that things will be just fine. So that was grand anyway. It wasn't grand, but I was like, right, I'll figure it out and surely he'll replace the machine or whatever at some stage. And so then that night, well no, because I would have been there a couple of days. This must have happened beforehand. When I was getting a shower, I got into the shower and the shower head was hanging down in the shower, like, do you know, not on the hook yoke. So I picked it up and I put it on the hook yoke. And then when I actually turned the shower on, the pressure from the water turning on just knocked the shower head back off the wall again. And then I picked it up and tried to put it on, but then I realised that the holder for it was actually broken. So I was like, right. So I had to hold it in my hand. There was fuck all water pressure coming out of it. It felt like someone was spitting down along my back. That's how much pressure was on it. I was like, right. So now I can't hang it up. Plus it's barely dribbling down on my back. I was like, okay, let's finish the shower anyway. Let's continue. And as I was showering away, then I could feel the floor of the shower filling up with water. And it wasn't a bat, like it was a shower. And I was thinking, like, how can there be 3 issues just in the shower alone? No water pressure, no hanging uppy thing for the fucking shower head, and then the bottom of it is also filling with water. I was thinking, like, man, there's so many fucking things just gone wrong in this house. Like, how? Like, I had a list of things. I think there was like I think I was closing the curtain pole was falling off the wall, and there was just, everywhere I turned, there was just all these fucking different problems. And eventually I was like, I'm going to have to write a list here because this is mental. Like, so I rang back the landlord and I said, look, I understand that I told you this stuff already and I said you could fix it after Christmas and stuff like that. I said, but this is ridiculous. I said, there's so many fucking things wrong and blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't curse, obviously. I said, there's so many things wrong and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, I'll come over there and have a look. So he came over and I was like, look, the heating now has stopped fully working. I said, it's just not working, I said. And he was like, oh, right, I'll have a look at that now in a minute, whatever. So I went down looking at all the problems and I was showing him, I was like, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. And he was like, oh, Jesus, I've never had a tenant to come to me with a list of problems like this. I was like, yeah, well, I've never moved into a place with this many problems. I said, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt when there was a couple of little things wrong. I said, but this is ridiculous. I said, there's so many things wrong, like. And he was like, right, sure, I'll have a look at this heating for you. So there was a thing there was like a sticker on the back of the door where the heating is, and it says, like, for the heating to kick in, that the pressure has to be up at whatever bar, you know, has to be above this and below that for it to kick in. And so I think I ended up twisting the yoke on the pipe to build the pressure and then tighten it back up again. And he says to me, oh, well, that's not supposed to be there now, the line is not supposed to be there and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it is. Look, I said, it's supposed to kick in like that. Oh, no, it's not. I said, well, I twisted it and adjusted it so that the pressure builds up. He said, you did what? I said, yeah, like, you know, you're meant to, it says it right there. Oh, I don't give a shit what it says, he says. I looked at him, I was like, and I'd be pure, in situations like that, I'd be pure, hold on now a second. And, like, I wouldn't be cursing or speaking inappropriately or anything like that. And then the second day, then I'm like, hold on a second, I don't appreciate you swearing at me. And then they're pure like, and then he kind of just turned around and was like, well, look, if you want to live somewhere else, then what, you know? I was like, yeah, I actually will, I think. I said, because I can't deal with this. I said, there's too much stuff, and if you're not willing to fix it, then I can't. And he was like, oh, well, okay, whatever. And yeah, I just ended up moving out, and I kept the key then for the rest of the month and gave it back the key at the end of it, just so I'd use up my first month's rent. So yeah, there you go. There's just a little story time about an experience that I had when I moved into a house. Yeah, probably boring, but like it was just something that came into my head. So I said I'd tell you. And yeah. How'd you like them apples? So yeah. Sorry if that was boring. I don't know why I told you that. But anyway, it's done now. Whatever. What can I do? But I feel like I need to start posting more things on social media. More like content, videos, things like that. Because I don't know. I feel like if I could go viral now one more time while I have my podcast, that'd be brilliant for me. Because the other times when I had videos that went viral and stuff like that. Like I ended up on the Sun newspaper and like the Sun, no, the Sunday World. Was it the Sun or the Sunday World? No, it was the Sunday World. I ended up on for my last viral thing. Second last viral thing. The last viral thing I didn't really get on any papers or anything like that. But anyway, but this other thing, I was on the papers and fucking radio stations were ringing me and everything else, and I had like 1 or 2 interviews and stuff like that. But if I can do that again while I have the podcast, that'd be brilliant for me, because usually they're like, oh, this user Walshunit posted this video and it went viral and blah blah blah. Whereas if I can get on and get that coverage and be like, oh, this Limerick podcaster posted this video, then that'd be brilliant for my advertising for me, wouldn't it? So that's what I'm gonna try to do. But you see, you can't. It's totally random as to what's gonna do well and what's not gonna do well. Because I find the more work you put into something, the more thought you put behind a video or anything like that, it doesn't go as far, which is very weird, but that's how it is. But I was thinking as well, like, it's just so easy nowadays for people to create content. Like back when I started creating content, it was so difficult, like, to do any of the things that you can do now simply. Do you know what I mean? Like, even to get like a clip from YouTube or something like that, you had to go through a website and you had to do this and you had to do that. And now, like, the iPhones have built-in screen recorders, or, do you know, if you have an Android, or even I'm sure some of the Androids have built-in screen recorders now, but do you know, that's even just one thing there, just boom, screen record, and you have a video clip that you need. And then you used to have to get like, you used to have to use like a YouTube downloader or something, and like download what song you wanted to use and clip it, and then you'd have to put it into like an app, like these mad basic apps like on that you get just download. And like I bought a full version of an app one time to make videos, and yeah, there was just so much that went into it. And then you'd have to use a different app to make memes or to edit a picture or to try and like Photoshop, we'll call it. Like, I've never used Photoshop in my life, but like, do you know, that's what you'll be trying to do with apps. You'll be trying to like put different things into the picture and stuff like that. And whereas now you can just go onto fucking ChatGPT and just be like, oh, generate a picture of me and a cow on a skateboard eating an ice cream with a fucking Sky TV remote on my head, and they'll be like, okay, and it's just done in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's so fucking easy. Like, if I had all this stuff when I started out, Jesus, like, I don't know, I just feel like I could have went so much further than I have. So that kind of way, I just feel like everything's so readily available now, and you can just even make a TikTok or whatever, or use CapCut, and then like you can pick whatever song you want and whatever effect you want and this and that, and most of it is just free version and everything. And yeah, it's mad like how easy it is. And it's like, once everything became easier to do, it's like that's when I kind of stopped making so much of an effort to create, which is mad, because you think that I'd be like, oh, it's so easy now, let's create more and more and more. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try do some more stuff anyway, and try and get it out there a little bit more and just push the socials, because yeah, I'd like to try and get a bit more media coverage and stuff like that when my mistake, shit, sorry. What was I meant to do there? I'm trying to figure out Oh yeah, no, that was what I meant. No, that's not what I was meant to do. Oh, this is what I was supposed to do. Yeah, sorry. I was trying to put my socials and stuff on the screen. I pressed the wrong button. Silly boy. So yeah, I have to. So next week, I have to make sure I turn my phone. I disconnect my Bluetooth from the laptop so it doesn't start ringing, because I turned my phone on silent and then I got the phone call and obviously heard the ringtone coming out through it. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to edit it out. But next week, that's something that I'm going to have to remember. And also, I'll have to remember to not just do what I just did. Not do what I just did there. Because, yeah, making mistakes. Learning new things, but then using them incorrectly. But, yeah, so follow me on all the things. You just saw my socials going across the screen. Walshunit on Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and all that jazz, and Walshunit41 on TikTok. Yeah, so give it a lash and give me a follow and suggest fucking viral videos that I can make. And yeah, I made it through the episode without getting carried away with my tooth, so that's good. Yeah, so look, I'm going to bust a move. I'll leave you there. And as always, everybody, have a good.
The unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit.